been a lot of questions about tools and what we like and what we don't like. Um, it's tough to work on the job and use the tools and talk about the tools, so we may have to take a couple of lunch breaks or something and go through some of the tools that we use. As you can see, we're pretty well supplied for whatever we come up against. But I think as we go along, I'll talk about some of the basic tools: compressors, nail guns, saws, sawzalls, hammers. You know, some of the stuff that we use all the time. I mean, there's stuff here in the trailer that we use occasionally, and it's nice. It saves our bacon, but it's not what we're running every single day, and certainly not on this particular project. We got a little snow last night, not too much. What do you think we got? Half inch?
Yeah, about.
We've got that. It's amazing that we went from 52 degrees yesterday to 28 degrees this morning, and it snowed. You never know what you're gonna get. But I've got my delicious hot chocolate, and we've got some blue skies. I think it's gonna be a great day. Today we're gonna work on building some walls, making some shade. Okay, so this morning, before we start laying out walls, I want to talk about building walls. And one thing I want to address in all of that is some of the headers. So jump in with whatever questions you've got as we go. But here's what I'm thinking. Each wall is going to have certain components, and some of those components are going to be, we can mass produce those because the wall heights are the same. We know that all of our king studs and full link studs are going to be 104 and 5/8. We know that all of our headers are going to be built out of 2x12. So if we kind of know what we need, then we can be looking and say, okay, I'm waiting on those guys to finish sheeting that. I got a few minutes. I'll build the header for the next wall, or I'll cut cripples for the next wall, because the headers are the same size, so cripples are going to be the same size. So let's draw a wall here. If we go king stud and king stud, and then we put in our header over it, then we know that our cripples that run down either side, and I think as a policy we'll double up on the cripples, because we're carrying so much weight. We're spanning the entire house with the roof trusses, and these walls are carrying everything, so we're gonna go double up on the cripples. That'll give a full 3 inches for that header to sit on in that wall. Then as we put in our windows, sorry, I'm trying to talk and draw at the same time. Then we'll always push the header to the top, and then figure out where our window is and our window space, and then frame it in below the header. But as you can see, let's say that our window is 36 inches wide. We'll then frame that 37 inches we'll always add an inch. That'll give us some room to set that window. But look how much further out our header is, right? If we're 37 inches on our window, plus another inch and a half, inch and a half, inch and a half, inch and a half. So we've got 6 inches. So we're actually 37 plus 6 inches takes us all the way to 43 inches. So this header has to be 43 inches across, wide, in order for that to work out. So that's something to consider as we're moving along. No, you can see it over the window here. This is the best example.
Yeah.
Is we've got, it's just to support over the window.
Okay.
I mean, can you imagine running 3 2x12s around the whole perimeter of the house? I mean,
There is such thing as overkill, but yes,
yeah.
I can imagine it. I don't want to do it.
So, if we've got, if you look at this header, right, we're going to sandwich 3 together. So we'll go 1.5 inches, then a 1/2 inch sheet of OSB, then 1.5 inches. So we're going to end up with 3 2x12s in that header over the window. And I'm sure that as we start building these components and putting them together, that they're going to make more sense. The other thing is you're talking about a wall and then transitioning. If this is our intersecting wall, we've got, what I want to do is put in these California corners, which is, we've got the end, and then we've got this one that kicks down here, and this will be our support in the corner for grabbing sheetrock and supporting that in the corners.
Okay.
So what is your window from your king stud over towards the right? What does it look like? Are you 16 on center from that stud then?
Yeah, so then our next ones would go 16, 16, 16. And that's the other thing is, the reason we're going 16 inches on center on those outsides is because we're supporting all those trusses. Now, on interior walls, we're going to go 24 inches on center because we're not carrying any weight. And we want to make sure we get those on 16 on layout. So sometimes we may have an oddball stud as we're coming along trying to get on layout, because we have to, on the outside, we'll have to sheet those for shear strength. And we need to be able to nail that sheet down. So there has to be something every 16 inches for all of that sheeting. So when we're talking about the header or the cripples or the king studs, or just our regular wall studs, that kind of gives you a general idea of what we're talking about. So if I'm like, hey, cut me 2 cripples for underneath the header, we know exactly what it's going to be. It's the length of a king stud minus the 2x12, and that's the length, and they all need to be the same so that all the walls are the exact same height around the entire house. And we'll do a single bottom plate, we'll do a top plate, and then after the walls are built, we'll come back and double up another double top plate, and that'll add a bunch of rigidity. I mean, it'll be really stiff and really strong for setting all of those trusses on. The other thing is, we're just going to have, just over the windows and the doors on the outside, we'll have headers. And so we'll build headers over all the windows and all the doors, and the reason for that is because they're all carrying the load of the roof. So I think we'll square up the building, we'll chalk lines, and we'll build this first back wall along the back of the house, which is pretty easy. It's only got one little window in it, and it should be really a simple starter. And then we'll go from there, and it'll get more complicated as the walls have more doors, more windows. We'll start with the easy, and we'll work towards the more difficult stuff. But questions, comments, concerns. A lot of that information is going to come as we go along, and we're taking measurements and making cuts, and we'll adjust accordingly. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, let's hit it. We're going to square up this building, and we've gone ahead and squared everything, but we're just going to check our chalk lines, and we're going to do what's called a 3-4-5, and any multiple of that. So we're going to do a 6-8-10 and see if we're square. So I'm going to mark 8 foot here, and if you'll mark 6 foot there, and if we're 10 foot exactly from mark to mark, then we know that we're perfectly square.
Inside of the tape measure.
So if you, I am Miggs. You there?
Yep.
And so you can see I'm right on 10 foot, and we're perfectly square. We're good to go.
Okay, so for my chalk line or am I burning?
I think your life would be easier if you burned 5.5 inches.
Okay, 5.5.
Okay. Oh my gosh, it's cold. Yesterday it was sunshine and t-shirts, and today it's so cold my nipples are about to cut through my t-shirt. So if you come in, you're going to be at 6 foot. If you're 5.5 on the line, you're going to want to be at 6 foot. And that should be
5.5 on the line, 6 foot on the edge.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Five and a half. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Jeez,
So this gives me, I know I need to be 32 foot across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. Okay, your mark.
I have my mark.
Okay, let's go down to the next one. Cut that.
5.5. 6 foot. 6 foot. 5.5.
You liking it?
I'm loving it.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm gonna hold just my side of the line. I'm good. Remember, you want to be, hey, this side of the line. Tell me when you're good. Okay, nice. We've got all of our exterior walls laid out, and everything exterior in this house is 2 by 6, so 5.5 inches, and that's to get a better R value or more insulation in those exterior walls. On the interior walls, everything's going to be 2 by 4, and that'll help cut cost, and it's just not necessary. There's nothing structural. The trusses span from outside to outside, so the weight of the roof is all being carried on the outside walls. They're not on any of the interior walls. So we'll go ahead and start building all the exterior walls and working on getting those stood up. Today's gone really good. We've got walls coming together and framing started. There's a lot of questions to answer, like how high to set the windows, how the doors swing, and how far away they need to be from other walls. A lot to consider as the walls come together. It's not just throwing up a wall here and a wall there. A lot of the choices that we make here are going to have long-term consequences for everybody across the board, whether it's electricians, plumbers, HVAC guys, especially as we're putting together walls around bathrooms. A lot of times walls that have a lot of plumbing in them, we'll make those 2 by 6 walls. Typically a 2 by 4 wall is not going to be big enough for plumbing and drains and those types of things, so we'll go with larger walls in those areas. The these first walls are kind of tough, setting the standard for windows and doors, and then as we move along, things will go a lot quicker. So far today it's been great, and we've got a bunch done. The weather hasn't really participated. It's been clear. We're grateful for that. We would love to hear from you what your thoughts are, what questions you have. So in the comments below, please let us know what you think and maybe what you'd like to see as we go along building this house. We want to hear your questions. We want to know what you like seeing or what you'd like to see more of. You know, do you want to see more about the tools we're using? Do you want to see more about the reasons that we're going with a 2x6 exterior and a 2x4 interior? It'd be fun to hear from you guys down in the comments about what we could show you more of.